Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Was Reborn as Kyuubi, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Morning came. Kakashi waited for his teammates to arrive. One by one, each of them came to the front gate, where he was waiting. Is this everybody? Kakashi asked. He looked at each of the faces, remembering the names of those he was assigned to look over. Good. Then let's get moving. The group left the village and proceeded to make their way to the direction of Suna. As Hinata took her step outside the gates of Konoha, she turned to look back at the hospital, which was fairly large, so it stood out from the other buildings. We'll save you, Naruto-kun. Hinata. Sakura called out to her. Hinata turned and saw the group already several feet ahead of her. Hurry up. We can't stop for anything. Hinata quickly dashed forward to the group, not wanting to waste a second when it could mean saving Naruto. After traveling through the forest, jumping over branches and dodging trees, the sun was down and it was too dark to continue. We'll camp here for the night. Kakashi said, set yourselves up. I'll go get some firewood. Kakashi-sensei. Hinata walked up to the masked Jonin. Shouldn't we keep going? We need to get to Suna quickly, don't we? Of course we do, but it's too dark to go on. Kakashi answered the Hyuga girl. I understand you worry about Naruto, I do too. After all, he's my student. We'll make it there in time, but right now we need to rest up and recollect our energy. Hi. Hinata's face was one of disappointment and concern. She was always good at hiding her true expressions and this was no different. Hinata went back to the group and set her sleeping bag up for the night. The campfire lit brightly, warming everyone that slept around it. Kakashi sat on the grassy surface with his legs crossed. As usual, he had his nose in his favorite book. While the fire provided warmth while reading, it also gave some light for him as he read. The sound of someone in discomfort got Kakashi's attention off his book. He looked over to his other students and saw that Hinata was rolling around in her sleeping bag. A nightmare, he thought in wonder. I think I have a guess on what it's about. Hinata's head rolled around as her mind was tormenting her with images that gave her a chill of fear. Kakashi kneeled by her side and gently shook her awake. Hinata opened her eyes, finally realizing that it was just a dream. Are you all right? Kakashi asked. Hi. Hinata answered. Of course it was a nightmare, she wasn't all right. Maybe you should sleep closer to the fire. Kakashi suggested. My sensei always insisted on that when I was a student. Why? Hinata asked. Believe it or not, I used to have nightmares of my own during missions. Kakashi responded. He told me that sleeping closer to the fire makes the nightmares come less often. He helped Hinata get out of her sleeping bag and set it up closer to the fire, but far enough to prevent any sort of accident from happening. Hinata got back into her sleeping bag and got comfortable inside it. Good thing she didn't ask what my nightmare was about. Kakashi began to remember his past memories of missions. I hope no one ever finds out about it. Glad you could make it so quickly. Temari said, as the Konoha shinobi gathered in front of the Kazekige's office. 2 days have gone by and the Konoha ninjas finally arrived. On the urge of Sakura and Lee, the team woke up as early as possible to cover more ground during the day, as well as sleeping later than usual. This schedule successfully see a 3-day journey down to 2. Well, we would have arrived sooner if the others knew how to run faster. Rock Lee commented. Hey, it's not our fault we're not trained by Guy-sensei. Kiba retorted, jumping at Lee from behind and binding him in a headlock. Hey, stop it. Sakura smacked both of the boys on the head. Gomen Sakura-san. Lee immediately bowed to show his utmost apology. KL. Kiba muttered, as he stood facing away from Rock with his arms crossed. We're ready to see Gara-sama. Sakura said. Perfect. Temari smiled. Wait, before you go in. Kankuro stood before them all, a personal request from him. Please don't feel compelled to refer to him as Sama, or San, or any of that respective stuff. He feels old enough about being a Kazekage at the age he's in, he doesn't want to feel any older with all the respect he gets. Agreed. Sakura replied. Good. Kankuro smiled. He opened the door to the office. He and Temari walked in first. Gaara, they're here. The group of 7 all entered the office. While many of them first had their eyes on the Kazekage, Shikamaru made a glance back to Temari, who simply smiled when she noticed it. Ino couldn't help herself, but look around the office, noticing that it was far more different than Tsunde's office. Welcome. I'm glad you could make it in short time. Gaara smiled softly. The smile that Gaara gave brought a blush of pink on the girl's cheeks. Sakura couldn't keep her eyes off him, as his smile was something that she has not seen before. Hinata reacted the same way upon seeing the smile. Tenten, on the other hand, couldn't help but stare at him with heart-filled eyes. Ino couldn't stop herself from blushing brightly when the smile was caught in her view. I knew this would happen. Kankuro whispered to his sister's ear. Temari looked to where Kankuro was pointing and saw what he was referring to. She simply laughed when she saw how infatuated the girls were. I understand the reason for your arrival. Gaara spoke, apparently oblivious to the reactions the girls were giving him. The scroll you seek is in the library. Unfortunately, the records that show where it was shelved has gone missing. You'll have to sweep the entire library to find it. That doesn't sound too hard. Lee said. You underestimate the task. Kankuro smirked. You gotta be kidding me. Kiba looked around at the immense size of the library they were in. It's gonna take us forever to find it in here. Well then, we better start now. Lee said. How should we go about doing this? Wait, where's Kakashi-sensei? Shikamaru asked, realizing that their instructor wasn't with them. Sakura gave a grumbling huff in realization, probably reading one of his books. I say we should search individual shelves. Shikamaru suggested, since we're looking for a medical jutsu, we'll all start there. The medical section has its own room. Temari said, considering there are many things that require medical attention. Geez, you just have to ruin the hope in us. Shikamaru muttered. Temari smiled at his comment, knowing that she would have fun to the poor boy. The group of 7 scattered around the room looking for any information regarding the technique that was used to revive a comatose victim. The whole day was spent looking at every shelf, but the large size and mass amount was proving to make it difficult. Sakura and Hinata were together looking through one shelf. Sakura was on a ladder, looking at the top shelves, while Hinata was at the bottom, holding the ladder. Hinata, could you slide me over to the right? Sakura asked. Hinata didn't respond. She was deep in thought about something. Hey! Sakura shouted. Hinata. Ha! Oh sorry. Hinata broke out from the thought and looked up. What was it you wanted? Could you slide me over to the right? Sakura repeated. Hinata pushed the ladder to the right, letting it slide on the rail to where Sakura wanted it to be. What's in her mind? Sakura thought to herself. Hey, they have to close the place down for the night. Kankuro called out. He opened the door of the room's entrance out to fix it. Be out in 5 minutes. The moon was now up in the sky. While many of the villagers were at home, ready for bed, few shinobi were patrolling the streets. The only one that stood out from the others was a Konoha shinobi who was standing before a grave. It's great to see you again. Kakashi spoke to the grave. It's been almost a whole year since our last meeting. No one else was with him while he spoke. On the tombstone, a name was engraved on it, Elder Chio. Gaara has been doing a great job as the Kazekage. Kakashi said, you would be proud of him. Knowing that this was a one-way conversation, he didn't bother waiting for a response, knowing it would never come. Rest in peace, Elder Chio. This will be your quarters until you leave. Temari said as she opened the door to the room. Inside, there were several beds set up with nightstands next to each. There wasn't much to see in here, for it was only a temporary bedroom. Thank you Temari-san. Sakura smiled. Get plenty of sleep. Temari said, you'll HVE to be at your best for tomorrow. Temari left the room and walked down the hall, leaving the Konoha girls to make themselves comfortable. Each of them claimed their bed and immediately rested on them. Here you are. While Temari was showing the girls their room, Kanukuro was taking the boys to theirs. It's not much, but it's the best we can do. This is more than enough. Shikamaru said, thank you. I'll leave you all to get comfortable. Kankuro left and proceeded to go to wherever he was heading to. We spent hours looking for the scroll and all we found were ones on how to cure stomach aches and diarrhea. Kiba M. We'll just have to search harder tomorrow. Lee said with determination. Naruto is depending on us. Well then, we better get some sleep. Shikamaru said. While all of them prepared themselves for the night, Shikamaru looked out the window. Down below, standing on the border walls of the village, Temari was standing there. I'm going to take a walk. All right, Kiba replied, don't make such a ruckus when you get back. Shikamaru simply answered with a gesture of his arm as he walked out the door. Once the doors closed, he's going to see that sand girl, it's obvious. Isn't she 3 years older than us all? Lee asked, confused as to why Shikamaru is interested in one much older than him. You think that would stop him? Kiba asked. Besides, the dude already acts like an adult. Kiba got into his bed and pulled the covers over him. Akamaru jumped up on the foot of the bed and curled himself up. Temari was standing on the border wall of the city, overlooking the landscape. No one else was around her, so she was alone. At least, that's what she thought. Mind if I join you? A familiar voice asked her. Temari turned back and saw Shikamaru standing there with a smile on his face. Unless you prefer to be alone. No, I could use some company. Temari smiled back. Hinata began to move around in her bed, not being able to sleep. The reason of why she was here continued to torment her mind. Remembering Naruto in the hospital for the past 3 weeks has made her restless for the whole time. Hinata, what's wrong? Sakura asked. Hinata quickly got up from bed when she heard Sakura speak. Nothing, I'm fine. It's about Naruto, isn't it? Sakura asked. Of course, she was many who knew of Hinata's crush for Naruto, although she still never understood how he doesn't know yet. I'm just so worried about him. Hinata said quietly, I just wish I could have been more helpful to him. Hinata, don't worry about the negative side of this. Sakura said. She got out of her bed and sat down next to the Hyuga. Naruto's always found a way out of difficult situations, even those that seem impossible. All of you must really care about Naruto to go this far for him. Temari said. Shikamaru and Temari were still on the border wall of the village. While Temari was facing towards the outskirts, Shikamaru was leaning on the rail of the wall. Well, he's a strong-willed ninja. Shikamaru replied. Despite his many flaws, he's actually a very friendly guy. I've never met someone who could be so friendly as him and have that kindness spread to others. Well, personally, I'm glad that I met him. Temari said, remembering past memories with Gaara before and after they met Naruto. What was it like before? Shikamaru asked. Temari asked, suddenly remembering that she was with Shikamaru still. Before meeting Naruto, what was it like? He asked again. He noticed that Temari suddenly changed her face to look of a frown. I'm sorry, it wasn't my business to ask. No, it's okay. Temari said, I just didn't expect anyone to ask me that question. She took a deep breath and answered, for the few years before the Chunin exam, things were very frightening. Flashback. Gaara, you will obey the orders of your sister. Kankuro commanded. Gaara was standing alone, before Kankuro and Temari as they were making preparations to head to Konoha for the Chunin exams. Don't you dare tell me what to do. From the calabash that was strapped to Gaara's back, small amounts of sand poured out. Gaara, stop that this instant. Temari commanded. What did I just say? Gaara asked, his eyes giving a look that brought fear in both his older siblings. The sand then grew to a large size and began to swirl around the three. Kankuro and Temari looked around them as the sand was blocking them from escape. You know I have the power to KO you. Gaara said. His lips curled upward to show an evil grin, but that would lower our chances of a successful invasion of Konoha. With that, the sand traveled back into Gaara's calabash, so I'll tell you once more, don't tell me what to do. End. Every time he threatened to KO us, I was always afraid, Temari said. I always thought that the next threat would be the last one and he would finally KO us. Her eyes began to mist over from all the memories. Every time it happened, I found myself hating Gaara for being that way, but I could never show him how much I hated him. But afterwards, I realized that I simply loved him and was hoping for the day that he would change. Flashback. Gaara sat at his desk, looking over notes that were given to him. He knew the amount of paperwork would come when he accepted the position as Kazekage. He then heard a knock on the door. Come in. The door opened and Temari came walking through. You asked to see me. Yes, I did. Gaara got up from his chair. Is something wrong, Gaara? Temari asked. There was no answer for the time, for Gaara didn't know how to say this. Yes, there is. What is it? Temari asked. Ever since Gaara had become Kazekage, she had seen many changes in him, most notably, he no longer disrespected either her or Kankuro. I've never had the time to say it, for I didn't know how to. Gaara said. He looked down to the ground, thinking over the words he planned to say. Gaara. Temari was confused as to what her younger brother was trying to do. I'm sorry. Temari's eyes went wide from surprise. She heard him say those words before, but the way he had said it now, it was different. I'm sorry for everything I ever did to you and Kankuro. Gaara said, all those times I said I hated you and threatened to kill you. I'm very sorry. Tears were now forming over the red-haired leader. Gaara. Temari came over to her brother and embraced him in a hug. End. I'm glad things worked out between you two. Shikamaru said. Though he never had a younger sibling to care for, he had a basic idea of how she must have felt, for on a number of occasions, he showed great care for his teammates, treating them like family. Temari wiped away the tears in her eyes. It's getting late. You should head back to sleep. What about you? Shikamaru asked. Shouldn't you sleep too? I'm not really tired. Temari answered. Shikamaru simply shrugged and proceeded to head back to where Rock and Kiba were sleeping. Shikamaru. He turned back to see Temari when she called his name. Thank you for listening. She put on a soft smile. Anything for a friend. He smiled back. He turned to continue walking. Wait. Temari called to him again. He turned with a questioning look. There's a restaurant that's still open. You care to join me? Well, I didn't really eat much since I left home. Shikamaru looked back at the food that he had to suffer with during their 2-day trip to Suna. That'd sound nice. Temari smiled at his response. She walked to Shikamaru and the two walked together to where this restaurant was. You know, it's nice to see you when you're not carrying that oversized fan. Shikamaru said, it gets rid of the vibe of you wanting to kill someone. What was that supposed to mean? Temari asked with a fist held up ready to punch. Hey, calm down. I didn't mean anything by it. Shikamaru waved his hands in front of his face in a pathetic form of defense. Geez, how troublesome. Why did I choose to go to dinner with her? The group was back on duty of searching for the scroll. After several more hours of searching, they were completely through the entire medical section of the library. This is hopeless, Sakura complained. We checked all the shelves and even double-checked them. Still, we get nothing. Maybe it was mis-shelved. Hinata suggested, or maybe it could be under a different section. That could be possible. Temari said, we've had occasional times where a doent was shelved in an incorrect area. Well, that's just gonna make things more difficult. Kiba groaned, we had enough trouble searching one section. What hope do we have in searching the entire library? Well then we need to search fast. Lee threw his fist up in hope. Naruto is depending on us. But what more can be done? Kiba asked. He fell to the floor, landing on his bottom. We were already working hard to search for it. Are you going to give up? Lee asked. He leaned down to bring his face closer to Kiba. Are you planning to fail another mission? A vein popped in Kiba's head. Don't say that crap to me. I wasn't trained by Guy Sensei. I'm trained to track, not track with impossible odds. Stop it. Sakura screamed. You two are hopeless. She stormed off, leaving the library. Good one, KL. Kiba growled. Sakura was sitting on the steps of the library entrance. Her head was resting on her knees as the sun was shining on her back. Kiba was right. What hope was there? They've searched the shelves twice and found nothing. She slowly began to think that they might lose Naruto. Sakura. Shikamaru sat by her side. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Sakura wiped the tears off her eyes. I'm just stressed. We're all stressed. Shikamaru replied. The most he could do to comfort the pink-haired ninja was put a hand on her shoulder. What other options do we have? Sakura asked. If it's not in the medical section, where else could it be? Shikamaru was hoping for an answer to pop into his mind. Wait. A sudden realization came into his mind. When we looked through the medical section, we only found common types of treatments. Yeah, Sakura replied. agreement with his statement. She remembered that all the doents she found were for broken bones, flus, L tendons, and other common types of medical treatments. Tsunade-sama told us that this medical nin was known to be the first to find a cure for comatose victims. Shikamaru spoke again, if she was the first, and it wasn't in the medical section. Shikamaru paused. Sakura was waiting for him to finish. What? She asked, then what? It's gotta be in the history archives. He finished. You're a genius. She threw herself at Shikamaru. Thank you. Ah, get off of me. He tried to gasp for air. Geez, how troublesome. The group was now scouring through the 3 shelves that had information on the history 10 years ago. They were all divided to search each of the 3 shelves. While Kiba was searching the shelves with Lee, Akamaru started to bark with a sense of uneasy feelings. Oh boy. Kiba knew very well what that feeling was. Lee, I gotta take Akamaru for a break. Otherwise he'll stink up the place. He left the library with his large dog and made their way to a private place for Akamaru to take care of his business. Oh man, I think I need to go too. While Akamaru quickly finished up with his mess, Kiba was still behind the bushes. I can't believe I was holding it in for 6 hours. Kiba said. He zipped up his pants and walked over to Akamaru. Come on boy, we gotta get back. Suddenly, Akamaru started to run off, barking as he went, hey. Akamaru, come back. He chased after his gray-furred dog. What's got him acting up like this? Akamaru finally stopped in front of another dog. This one seemed to be of the same breed as his. Kiba finally caught up with him. Akamaru, you can't just run off like that. You know I get really worried when you do. Kanara. A female voice called out, Kanara, where are you? Kiba looked up and saw a girl running to his direction. By the uniform she wore, she was most likely a Chunin, and their face made her seem to be around Kiba's age. She kneeled down by her dog and stroked the dog's head. There you are. What gotten into you? She looked up, seeing Akamaru. Oh, looks like you met a friend. She then looked up to Kiba. Hi. Hi. Kiba smiled, but a small tinge of pink entered his cheeks. My name's Kiba. I'm Reiko. She smiled. Her hair was a color that matched the sand around the village, but had more emphasis to it, making it seem almost alive. It reached down to her shoulders, with small strands hanging over her forehead. Her eyes were dark hazel and contrasted perfectly with her hair. She wore a forehead protector that had the symbol of the shinobis of Suna. This is Kanara. I was stopping by a stand to get some food for her, but she ran off. I guess I can see why. She looked down and saw how the dogs were enjoying each other's company. I haven't seen you around here. You're from Konoha, aren't you? She asked, seeing the symbol on his forehead protector. Yeah, I'm here with a team to find a doent in Suna's library. Kiba answered. You mean you're part of the Konoha team that came yesterday? Reiko asked. Yeah, how'd you know when we arrived? Kiba asked. I work as a medical nin. I was the one who checked up on Gaara after he returned from being captured last year. Reiko answered, I overheard of how someone from Konoha needed help from him. You think you can help us? Kiba asked. We've been searching for 2 days now. I'll do my best. Reiko answered with a sweet smile. Come on, Kanara. Akamaru, let's head back. Kiba called to his companion. Kiba arrived back at the library, with Reiko following. Upon arriving, the others noticed the unfamiliar face that was with Kiba. Who is that? Ino asked. Oh, this is Reiko. Kiba answered, I thought she could be of some help. Well, I don't think she could be of any better help. Sakura groaned in disappointment. We searched every shelf, it's still not here. What are you looking for? Reiko asked. A scroll that was used by a medical nin 10 years ago. Ino answered, the scroll was able to bring a person out of a coma instantly. Well, you're not going to find it in here. Reiko answered. The Konoha shinobi all gave a look of disappointment from wasting their time in this area. The scroll's a very valuable one, it'll be in the hospital's medical vault. A vault? Sakura asked. Yeah, doesn't Konoha have one for their hospital? Reiko asked. Seeing that Sakura shook her head as a no, she simply chuckled, well, that explains why you've been wasting your time here. I can get the scroll for you, but I can't guarantee that I could get it so easily. The vault is under high security, ever since the attack that led to Gaara-sama's capture. The vault guards won't let anybody in so easily. Then maybe we should talk to Gaara about it. Shikamaru suggested, since he's the Kazekage, they'll let him have access to the vault. I see. Gaara sat behind his desk with his chin resting on the back of his hands. I can't believe I didn't notice this earlier. The vault would have been the perfect place to store such a valuable medical jutsu scroll. Reiko tells us that no one is allowed in the vault unless they are either Hig-class medical nin or if one has the permission of the Kazekage. Kiba said, which is why we're here. I understand. Gaara replied. He took a sheet of parchment from his desk. Taking a feathered pen that was on an ink bottle, he began to write down on the parchment. Once he finished, he put the pen back into place and gave it to Sakura. Give this to the vault guards, they'll let you in. Thank you, Gaara. Sakura bowed. It's the least I can do, Naruto. Gaara responded. Remembering how Naruto nearly risked his own life to save his, he didn't know how he could repay him. Well, I wish you the best of luck with saving Naruto. His lips curled upward into a smile. The female Konoha shinobi couldn't help but blush once more upon seeing Gaara's sweet smile. Okay, you're scaring my little brother here. Temari shoved the group of girls out of the office. The boys followed behind her, not wanting Kankuro to push him out as well. Well, now that we know where to go, let's get going. Sakura said. It's kinda late. Ino said, we've spent quite a long time in the library. Why not go tomorrow morning? I agree with Ino. Shikamaru replied with a wide yawn. I'm really beat. I still didn't catch up on my sleep from last night. What were you doing last night? Sakura asked. He went out to dinner with Temari. Kiba answered, I was able to smell food from him when he came back to the room. Well, since we know that it'll be there, I guess a night's rest won't hurt. Sakura said. Kiba. Reiko picked up on her pace to walk next to Kiba. You doing anything tonight? No, not really. Why? Kiba answered. I usually take Kanara out for a walk around nighttime. She really enjoys running around with the moon shining. Reiko said as she patted her companion's head softly, you want to join me? I'm sure Akamaru might enjoy it too. What do you say? Kiba turned to his own companion. Want to go for a walk? Akamaru barked in agreement. Kiba smiled and turned to Reiko, let's get going. The two made their way to wherever Reiko took Kanara for her walk. Do you think we could get some food afterwards? The next day, the Konoha ninja all gathered in front of the hospital. Once they were all there, they proceeded to enter the building. Good morning. The receptionist greeted them with a small bow. How can I help you? Can you tell us where the vault is? Shikamaru asked. Gaara-sama requested that we retrieve a doent there. Oh, well if you put it that way. It's down the hall to your left. Make a right once you reach the end and go down the stairs. The receptionist pointed to the direction of the hall. Arigato. Shikamaru smiled. He turned to the group. Hat was a few steps behind him. Follow me. Following the directions that were told to him, he led the group through the hall and down the stairs. When they reached the end of the hall, they stood before a large stone doorway. There was nothing too interesting about the door, it was just a simple stone double door. At the bottom of the doors, several guards were standing there. What brings you here? One of the guards asked. We're here to pick up a doent. Shikamaru said, by the request of Gaara-sama. He turned to Sakura, giving her a look that she knew meant, the parchment. Sakura took the parchment from her pouch and handed it to Shikamaru. He gave the parchment to the guard. Very well, you may enter. The guard stepped back, allowing the Konoha ninjas to walk towards the door. The other guards did the same as well. With the help of two of the guards, the door was opened and the ninjas found themselves in a large room with many shelves. Not again. Kiba complained, more shelves. Hey, calm down. Reiko placed a hand on Kiba's shoulder. This won't take long. She walked into the large room and went to one of the shelves at the far back. She was far from their hearing, but few of them were able to make out some mumbling from her. Let's see. 10 years ago, coma, no, not here. After several minutes of waiting for an update, a sudden loud voice got their attention. Found it. Hinata jumped up slightly from the startling unexpected voice. When Reiko returned with a scroll in hand, she rushed over to her. Is this it? She asked. Yup. Reiko smiled, this is it. I'm glad you were able to find it. Gaara said. Well, we didn't really find it. Kiba responded with small, unnoticeable guilt, Reiko actually did. Well, give my thanks to her when you see her. Gaara smiled, I'm sure you must be wanting to go back to Konoha to treat Naruto. I'm on my way to Konoha to meet Tsunade-sama, I'll accompany you there. Temari said. Perfect. Sakura smiled, we'll leave right away. The group was now all prepared for their trip back home. They all went back to their rooms to gather their belongings, not wanting to leave anything behind. They all met together at the front gates of the village. Are we all ready? Temari asked. Looks like it. Shikamaru answered, let's go. As the group prepared to leave, a sudden voice from the village caught their attention. Kiba. Kiba turned around, looking back at the village. Reiko was running down the path with Kanara behind her. Reiko. You're leaving without saying goodbye to me? Reiko asked, looking slightly hurt by this. Ah, sorry. Kiba scratched the back of his head, I didn't know where to find you. I would have searched, but we had to leave right away. Well, since I found you, I guess we can goodbye properly. Reiko smiled. Yeah, well, I guess this is goodbye then. Kiba smiled back. You promise you won't forget me? Reiko asked. Of course not. I'll also remember to write once in a while. Kiba answered, right Akamaru. His canine companion barked in agreement. Kiba, come on, we gotta get going. Ino called from a distance. Sorry, I gotta hurry. Kiba said, hopefully, I'll see you again. He turned and ran off, meeting back up with his temamates. Bye, Kiba. Reiko smiled as he and Akamaru took off. Come on Kanara, let's head home. Naruto's body was placed on a table in the center of a large room. One machine was connected to his body, which showed his brain condition. Around the table, Tsunade, Sakura, and Ino stood, prepared to perform the new jutsu that was learned. Are you ready, Sakura? Tsunade asked. Hi. Sakura nodded. She walked over to Naruto, holding the scroll in her hand. Remembering how she had to do this, she opened the scroll and laid it on Naruto's body. Shin Seisei no Jutsu. She ran her left thumb over the scroll. The words on the scroll began to light up brightly, eventually covering Naruto's body. When the light faded, Sakura looked at the machine. What's going on? I don't understand. Tsunade looked at the machine monitor in confusion. To what the screen showed, the jutsu had no effect on Naruto's condition. Maybe Sakura doesn't have the proper chakra control for it. Ino suggested, or maybe she doesn't have enough chakra. Ino, you and Sakura do it together. Tsunade commanded, if what you said is true, then maybe both of your chakra might be able to make it work. Doing as ordered, Ino walked over to the table, standing on the other side of Sakura. Sakura had a look of determination in her eyes and also gave hope to Ino. Let's do this, Ino said with a smile. Hi. Sakura nodded and smiled. Together in unison, the two performed the jutsu. Shin Seisei no Jutsu. They both ran their thumb over the scroll, creating the same light as before. Tsunade looked at the monitor. It showed that a sudden burst of energy entered Naruto, but then dropped back down to before. Do it again. Tsunade commanded. Shin Seisei no Jutsu. Outside the room, Shikamaru, Temari, Kiba, Lee, and Hinata sat on the cushioned seats. While the others were waiting patiently, Hinata was twirling her thumbs around in her hands, worried if something might go wrong, and anxious for an update. Kiba, seeing the look of worry in her eyes, got up from his seat and sat down next to her. Hey Hinata, it'll be alright. You know Naruto wouldn't go down without a fight. I'm just really worried, Hinata said quietly. I know Naruto has been in the hospital from battle, but it's never happened before. Her eyes slowly began to produce tears. She rested her head on Kiba's shoulder, seeking comfort from anyone to help her with this worrying pain. At first, Kiba had a feeling of uneasiness. He's never had to do something like this for Hinata before. As a matter of fact, he's never had to do this overall. Helping a girl with issues like this was new for him. Thinking that it was the best thing to do, he brought his arm up behind Hinata and placed his hand on her shoulder. Wonder what Reiko would do if she saw me. Shin Seisei no Jutsu. The repeating of the technique began to wear down the two girls. Keep going, Tsunade ordered. This time, she was with the two to help along with the process. Together. Shin Seisei no Jutsu. While Sakura and Ino ran their thumb over the scroll, Tsunade pumped in her chakra in the same manner as a normal healing jutsu. Please Naruto, come back. When the light from the scroll faded once again, Tsunade looked at the monitor. She sighed in defeat when nothing new appeared. Naruto, wake up. Sakura screamed, you can't do this to us. Not after the trouble we went to save you. Knowing that she would get no response from him, she fell on her knees and had her head on Naruto's knee. She began to cry as she realized that it was now hopeless. I'm sorry Sakura. Tsunade looked at the pink-haired ninja in guilt. Not even the combined strength of 3 of them was enough to save Naruto. As she prepared to clean all the equipment up, a strange sound from the monitor got her attention. Ino looked over to the monitor to see what it was. Sakura lifted her head up for the same reason, but instead of looking at the monitor, she looked at Naruto's face. Is he? Naruto. Tsunade looked at the blonde genin's face. Naruto, can you hear me? His sea slowly lifted up from a large inhale and he opened his eyes. Where am I? X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.